Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we're going to be watching a video about P. Diddy and his his recent misfortune. We found out that he's been a little bit naughty. He's been a little bit of like his record label, a bad boy. Okay, let's get into it.
Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, coming on here to talk about a pretty massive story that could potentially lead to the downfall of one of the biggest moguls in music of all time. That would be...
And, a lot of people are going to say, how did P. Diddy get away with it for so long? Well, he had a lot of money. He had a big media conglomerate behind him. And he was able to pay off the right people. He was able to hide in plain sight. There was rumors in the music industry, but he was able to hide his... And I think a lot of it, obviously he was doing a lot of gay activity, allegedly sleeping with people like Usher, Meek Mills. A lot of it, I would say he was doing it because he realized he had a lot of power over people. And he kind of just wanted to fuck with them, literally. he wanted to just see how far he can push the envelope. And I think the power just got to his head, and his mind just became twisted and truly corrupted him. Now, what I'm trying to do on this channel is I'm trying to make you famous as well. But instead of getting you to suck my dick or getting you to become a serial harasser, a rapist, I would rather you use your power for the good of humanity. A lot of people who get into positions of power end up doing evil shit, doing evil crimes. The world doesn't need any more evil in it. What society needs right now, because you have to understand that we are at a point in human evolution where technology has become so advanced that AI, is getting so much better, literally month on month, that by the end of the year, a lot of people are going to start to become unemployed because of AI, if not already. Okay. And what happens when you have a whole society of unemployed people? Luckily, the elites also have a solution for that. They're going to plug most of society into the metaverse, where you can roll around, obviously paying your way within the metaverse. And once you've spent all your resources, whatever little resources that you have left, they're just going to leave you. They're going to make you claim some sort of universal basic income, and they're just going to leave you to rot in the metaverse. They're going to leave you to just fizzle out of existence, while the elites remain in control, while they get a stranglehold of resources. And I mean, in a way, it doesn't sound that much, but it is voluntary imprisonment. It is taking away your human rights. You don't have a say. They say, oh, it's much more fun in the metaverse, but you don't really understand what you're going to lose. You're going to lose your autonomy. You're going to lose your access to freedom, to move around, your ability to talk to people in real life. Humans release oxytocin, just by getting touched by another human, getting a hug, a warm embrace, and that's all going to go out the window. So society doesn't want you to win. Society wants you locked up in your residency, in your little pod capsule. It literally be a prison cell in essence. And you're not even going to realize that you are wasting away until it's too late. Okay. The only thing that is left for you to do is for you to build a kingdom, for you to become as famous as possible, for you to become the leader that the world needs. So instead of people like P. Diddy, going around, sexually harassing people, raping people, abusing his power. You know, it needs a person like you to step in and use your power to guide humanity to a better future and a better tomorrow for the next generation.
Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, FKA Puff Daddy, recently came out with a Grammy-nominated record, the Love Album. Given that the first week sales of that record were pretty...
It's very ironic that he called it the Love Album, you know, because he was literally forcing his love upon his victims.
Pretty dismal, and there wasn't really much of a demand among my audience to cover it. I think that it may be in order to remind you guys just how huge of a figure P. Diddy is. As the founder of Bad Boy Records, this guy not only was responsible for putting artists like Craig Mack and Biggie, as well as Mace, Faith Evans, on the map, but he was a major part of mainstreaming hip-hop music throughout the 90s and the 2000s. The guy has been behind a lot of massive hits throughout the hip-hop world over the course of his career, made a lot of very big, very correct, and essential calls in terms of putting on and popularizing particular artists. But then he took that success he saw in music and then leveraged it in a series of even more impressive business ventures.
So obviously he's here, I mean, P. Diddy is a very good case study in what fame and success allows you to do, right? Because he slowly and slowly built an empire. He built his own kingdom. He had the Bad Boy record label, which was in essence his kingdom. You know, he at one point was the king of East Coast hip hop, if not hip hop itself, right? Like he associated himself with Biggie Smalls, one of the considered the greatest rappers in history. You know, who can match him? Tupac, you know, and after that, you know, it gets a little bit murky. However, you know, he was able to build an empire. He was able to garner fame, garner attention, and he made millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then he was able to live a life of luxury. And you have to understand this, like, you know, like this is a crazy individual. This is an evil individual. In the end, you know, he abused his power. Yeah, but he in the very same breath could have used his power for greater good. Right, he could have helped people instead of going around abusing his victims. You know, but why are we talking about P. Diddy? Well, you know, because he is someone who was famous. He is someone who rose to the top because he understood how important it is to be seen, to have a following. And most likely, you know, all these accusations are going to come out, and he'll just be able to pay his way out of it with a slap of the wrist, and he'll just retire and still live a life of luxury. Do you get what I mean? And if a person who didn't have fame and didn't have status was to do this, they'll get the book thrown at them. They'll be locked up for forever, as they should, to be fair. But P. Diddy is going to get away with it because he has power and influence. And it just shows how fame can isolate you from the true problems of the world. You know, you might have issues, you might have problems in your life. Just like P. Diddy, he has problems in his life, right? That he's obviously caused himself. But, you know, any problem that you have in life, most of it can be solved via money. And you can pay to solve most of your problems. And then it's down to you to use that privilege, to use that position to build a life that you are truly happy with, to build a life that that you, in essence, build a kingdom and for the benefit of the citizens of your kingdom. And P. Diddy was able to do that. He was an evil king. P. Diddy was someone who obviously didn't respect human life, humanity. And that's why it is down to you to be a better role model for people, to be a better king for people. You know, the people are looking for someone to lead, and instead of leaving it up to evil people like P. Diddy, it should be someone who has good intentions, such as yourself.
In fashion, in alcohol, in video production and media broadly through Revolt TV.
And how did he get all these? You know, how did he get all these opportunities? Is because he was able to build his fame in the music industry. And once you are able to build a kingdom, once you are seen as a king, business opportunities, financial opportunities um, will come to you. You'll be able to live a life of luxury, right? P Diddy has dated some of the most beautiful and in-demand women in the world, right? He went out with Jennifer Lopez, you know, at the beginning of her career when she was considered to be one of the, if not the most beautiful woman in the world, in her prime, in her early 20s. And then he married Cassie, the R&B singer, who also, you know, and I believe they were married for like 10, 15 years, whatever. You know, her best years of her life were spent with P. Diddy. And, you know, and he was an evil person. Cassie came out with a lot of accusations against him of all the evil shit that he did to her, or the psychological manipulation, physical abuse that he put her through. And you have to say to yourself, it's like is that fair? That such an evil person, such as P Diddy, gets to date all these beautiful women and treat him like shit, in essence. Like, you know, if you went out with a beautiful woman, would you treat it like shit? That's why, you know, good people don't get rewarded, because good people don't have the self-belief or the balls to go into scary situations, to put themselves out there, because they're afraid of rejection, they're afraid of the opinions of others. Whereas psychopaths such as P Diddy and narcissists such as P Diddy are able to, you know, exude their grandiose claims onto the world, and are able to amass mass fortunes and date the most beautiful woman in the world. And, you know, you have to really ask yourself, is like, is that fair? Do you want to live the life that P Diddy did? Would you do it better than him? And if the answer to those questions are yes, then what you need to do is you need to start by building your kingdom. And what we do here, what I work with my clients, is to find out what you are most passionate about. We find out what your interests are, and how we can start making content around your ideas, about your unique view of the world. Because, you know, the world is crying out for a leader. And if you want to build a kingdom, I can help you. I can help you become a better communicator, a more charismatic communicator, a charismatic leader, a more effective leader, a more fair leader, because you deserve to rule instead of evil people. Because if you don't do it, who will? You know, can you trust your leaders? Can you trust the people in charge? Can you trust famous people anymore? Right? People are losing their minds. People are losing hope. Technology is here, and it's going to put a chokehold on humanity. Most people aren't going to make it to the next phase. Your offspring, your children are going to be fucked. That's if you even have children. And if you understand what's happening in the world right now, what these elites are trying to do, you know, they're trying to track you, they're trying to make you bankrupt, they're trying to take your resources, and they're going to drug you up and, you know, shove antidepressants down your throat. If you understand that this is happening in the world, and if you're not blind to what is going on, then, you know, I look forward to working with you and helping you to become the king that you deserve to be.
When it comes to being a mogul in the music world, few people exemplify that label as well as Diddy has. Even if a lot of that cultural power and influence I was just talking about didn't carry over all that well into the 2010s and especially the 2020s. With that being said, though, Diddy has recently been put on the defensive through a series of recent allegations, the first and biggest of these recent ones being filed against him by former...
You know, the word he obviously said was sexual assault. Why did he bleep it out? Because he's scared, because his only income is his YouTube. So he doesn't want to get demonetized, you know, like, whereas if a real king doesn't give a fuck, okay, you shouldn't be afraid to be censored. It is what it is. You know, he sexually assaulted a bunch of victims, right? That is the truth. Why should he be afraid to speak about it? Doesn't make sense. But he's obviously too scared of the YouTube algorithm to say something controversial. It's just a fucking word. Go over it. You know, it's a crime that someone else committed, and you're commenting on it. You know, obviously this guy, I think his name is Drop the Needle. He doesn't have the balls to say it. But you know, like when we build your kingdom, we'll make sure you're not as afraid of this guy, that you're not a big pussy like him, that you're able to say what's on your mind, that you are able to convey exactly what is going on and not lie and censor yourself for the world.
Girlfriend Cassie Ventura. That whole thing ended up getting settled out of court. Similar allegations were made by other individuals, and those cases seem to have been treated much the same way. But this most recent court document filed in the state of New York against...
So, obviously what happened was Cassie came at him with all these allegations, saying like that this is the sexual assault, manipulation, harassment that he caused on her, and he settled with her out of court. So a lot of people was like, well, you know, he's also assaulted me, how much money can I make? Okay. That's why, you know, he got exposed, because he tried to be sneaky, tried to get away with it. He, you know, he should have done it privately before. I mean, Cassie probably went up to him and said, look, man, if you pay me off, I won't go to the papers with this. And he, you know, he called a bluff on it probably, and serves him right. You know, he's a piece of shit. He's a he's an evil person. He obviously has no remorse. He's abused his power, and now you know, the chickens are coming home to roost. And you're going to see this more and more with I think that generation of rappers, that they're going to get more and more of these types of accusations thrown at them in the hopes for a big payday.
Diddy and a whole bunch of other defendants features dozens and dozens and dozens of pages of allegations that are absolutely off the wall, insane, and I am not saying that to be hyperbolic.
And just on, you know, you watching at home thinking, you know, how would you go about building a kingdom? How would you go about starting to make content? You know, what is this guy doing, right? All he's doing is reporting on other people's news, right? So in essence, he's just a type of journalist. He's a commentator, a pundit, commenting on what's going on in on the news, right? He's probably and all these people do, right? They just go on Twitter, they just see what's trending, right? See, oh, this is what people are talking about today, and then he'll make a video with the information he found out on Twitter, come up with his own conclusions, come up with his own takes, his own unique angles, and then just talks in front of a camera and is able to present it in a coherent way. Can't you do something like that? You know, wouldn't you be willing to literally sit at home, go on Twitter, collect a bunch of news points, and then just present it for a 10-15 minute video on camera, get millions of views, get paid for your opinions, for your content? And you know, you don't have to be, you know, you don't have to talk about entertainment news either. It could be, for example, whatever the thing is that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about cooking, you could start a cooking channel, right? And that's very saturated on YouTube, right? You know, having a cooking channel online. However, what we will be able to do is we'll make sure that your content is presented in a way that's very unique to you, very charismatic, very captivating, and very consistent as well. Because, you know, and then people slowly see your progress. They'll see you become a very knowledgeable individual on that subject. You rise to the top. You become as famous as you can. You make millions and billions of dollars, and you'll be seen as someone who is the key authority on that subject. You'll be seen as a king. You'll be treated like a king, and then you have your pick of the women that you would want. You'll be able to literally save these women from evil people like P Diddy, right? So the choice is yours. If you believe that in your life it was your destiny to do something important, that it was that you always wanted to do something that was for the benefit of society, that you were supposed to do something special in this world. This is your call to adventure. This is the moment in the film where you make that decision that you want to change yourself, that you want to do better, that you want to achieve something that's great. And if that is you, if you agree with what I say, if this resonates with you, then I suggest you start building your kingdom alongside me, and together the two of us can reign supreme for eternity.
Or salacious or anything like that. Austin and I will link you guys to the court document down below so you can see it for yourselves. Now, it's quickly worth noting that this is obviously not the type of content we cover on this channel on a regular basis. Call me old school, but I just personally see things like articles and text-based journalism as a superior place to deal with and spread important information around sensitive topics like SA. However, these recent Diddy allegations reach so far beyond that and implicate numerous individuals that will honestly leave you scratching your head. And just the layers to the story told in these court documents, it's really on the level of a Cosby or a Weinstein or an R. Kelly type situation where there's lots of individuals who are aware of every.
I mean, the examples you just gave, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, right? Jeffrey Epstein, like all these people. Jeffrey Epstein was more a little bit different because he was a Mossad, possibly CIA asset who was running a honey trap operation. Whereas, these other individuals like Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, they were just abusing their power just to get their way. And the thing is that these people are so famous, they don't need to assault people to get what they want, but they just want things now, right? And if they hate hearing no, and if you do what they if you don't do what they say, they thought that they were so powerful that they can get away with sexual assault. And that's the crux of the matter. With Harvey Weinstein, a lot of people, they were willing participants who just kind of regretted that they done something. So sleep with Harvey Weinstein for the chance to make their career. That's how some people are willing to do whatever it takes. Obviously, there's some cases where Harvey Weinstein was a piece of shit and did assault these women, but like you have to go through the individual cases because he was a very powerful person. He was a gatekeeper to very powerful positions, parts in films. If you if you had a part in one of his films, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, you're guaranteed to become an overnight sensation, an overnight star. Okay, and Harvey Weinstein knew that, and he leveraged that position to get sexual favors for himself. Now, whether that's right or wrong, he misused his power. Okay, he was a piece of shit, and you have to say to yourself, "Is like, well, how do these people keep getting away with it?" Because it's not just him, and like the guy said, P Diddy done the same, right? What's the other guy? Bill Cosby done the same, and I'm sure in the years to come, more and more stories will pop out like that. Okay, here in England, you had Jimmy Savile do shit like that, right? He was a very well known pedophile, and that other people enabled him.
Diddy is this very well known powerful figure with a lot of influence, a lot of power, a lot of money. Everyone's just kind of allowing it to happen, taking part. The documents themselves literally liken Diddy to Epstein. It's like on that level of control and conspiracy and manipulation. And again, if you go through the details of these allegations, you will not only see proof in images, proof in video stills, but also bits of stories dealing in grooming, coercion, assault, blackmail, trafficking, illegal drug.
And this is why you need to become a leader. This is why you need to become famous, because there's only so many people who can be at the top, right? And it is your duty to lead people to better lives, to do right by people, to not abuse people, to not take advantage of people. You know, like if you were in his privileged position, would you make the same horrible decisions that he did? Right? You know, again, you know, all these people: Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, P. Diddy, right? Bill Cosby, right? Like these are all people who are very talented, had a lot of power and abused it. Okay, so if you don't, if you think, oh, you know, I'm not a very confident person, you know, I'm not talented, I can't make it to the top, I'm not gonna try. You know, first of all, you're gonna live a shit life, and second of all, you're leaving opportunities to psychopaths like P Diddy. Okay, this is why you need to, right, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of the next generation, for the sake of people. You know, the people at the top don't give a fuck, right? They're enabling this because they're part of the money making machine that P Diddy enabled, right? As long as they're making a profit, they don't give a fuck who gets abused, who gets assaulted, who gets hurt in the process. Okay, so you know, to eradicate evil, you have to become the hero. You have to step up. And here on Royal Instinct, you know, I'm looking for 100 people who have the desire to change the world, who have the desire to do something great, to allow their unique talent to shine in the world, build fame off the back of that, and build their kingdom, and be seen as a king. Build a kingdom alongside my kingdom, and you'll be part of a network with 100 other kings who are able to garner attention, who are able to build alliances and lead their followers to more prosperous to a more prosperous future, because elites who are at the top now will just abuse their power and, you know, plunder and pillage their way until there's nothing left, and you are just weak and thrown to the side.
Use, prostitution, stuff involving minors, putting drugs in drinks, presumably without people sort of knowing, violent threats, even illicit sexual acts involving a few names that were redacted. But once you actually kind of read the Cliff Note info on these individuals, it's kind of apparent who they are. In section 71 of the court document, there is a rapper whose name is redacted, but then shortly under that, it says he is a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. Not sure we need to put two and two together on who that might in fact be. Also an R&B singer too, whose name is redacted, but it says he performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency. There are other figures whose names and likenesses are not redacted at all in these court documents. People like Cuba Gooding Jr., as well as you know, one half of the City Girls, Young Miami, who's been public with Diddy for a while now. Obviously, it would be no surprise that she would be witness to or part of any of the debauchery that's being talked.
So I mean, you know, this is the state of the entertainment industry. This is the state of the music industry. You know, there's clearly very talented people who get in there, but they also have to, in essence, sell their soul. They have to, in essence, give up part of their self-esteem, their self-worth, in order to appease the gatekeepers who are in charge. And people like P Diddy are very powerful people. They're very rich people, very successful people who leverage their fame and fortune in order to abuse people, victimize people. And this is going to carry on. This won't be the end of it. Most of humanity will be further abused in the future, because people are going to lose their jobs, people are going to lose access to resources, and in order to gain some sort of freedom, some sort of life, the elites are going to barter with you and trade with you for all sorts of favors. Okay. Don't leave it up to evil people. Don't leave it up to these psychopaths. It should be you in their privileged positions. It should be you who recognizes that you have divinity in you, that is your destiny to lead, that is your destiny to become famous, that is your destiny, because it's the only thing that's left, right? Like, fame is the key to unlocking unlimited opportunities. And if you understand that, and if you want to live a better life, then go to royalinstinct.com. You can work alongside me, and I can help you build your kingdom. But until next time, don't be like P Diddy.